One Smart Cookie in front with Ward, but the Rose is lunging on the outside and it'll get up on the line. Mount Warning getting tired, but it'll do enough to win. Mount Warning by 3/4.
Sesame Timbers in front. Gee, Skipper beats flying here. Oh, he'll fall in, Sesame Timbers.
It's Nemeth and Iona Merck. Nemeth showing plenty of fight. Iona Merck is trying hard. Nemeth kicking hard, and Nemeth will beat the favourite Iona Merck.
Yes, hello and welcome to A Beer and a Bet. And, well, what a successful week it's been. Episode 1 was enormous, and we've had 9 runners since, Mitch, and 4 winners. How's that feel?
Mate, I think I texted you on the way home from Randwick on Saturday and said the podcast is officially retired after 1 episode because we can't top it. And then our best bet lobbed on Sunday down at the Sapphire Coast. So, yeah, hopefully we're not in for a strip out this week.
Yeah, well, you had a bit of success this afternoon down there at Nowra with Sesame Timbers. It was good to see that horse get the job done there for the 2 units, boys.
Yeah, he's been knocking on the door. We decided to roll forward. He went at a decent clip. He had a little incident hitting the running rail at the top of the corner. And you're a liar if you said you didn't get a bit giddy. I think the entire nation went the early crow, but just hung on. But great for the 2 units, boys. Have been not only great mates but great supporters of the stable, and good to get it done. A few other likely lads in him, and good crew of owners. So he'll go to bigger and better things. We'll freshen him up a bit, go back to 1200, but got through the heavy 10, and I think that'll really bring him on now. He's a neat horse, and he'll win plenty of races.
Love that. It was a good win, and yeah, I was with you. I went the early crow. At the 300, I got up and walked away. Yeah, didn't left the volume on, and I nearly had a heart attack when I looked back at the screen.
I'll tell you the one we will be following from down there is Highballer. He was absolutely terrific. He was in a race. They got called off, and we had to sort of throw him in this race. He had 64 kilos, and then we claimed. But, geez, I reckon he's going to be an absolute gem. Winter, get out to a mile and beyond, deeper into his preparation. He was super today. Just narrowly ran second. I think he's going to be another little tried horse gem for us, Gano.
And our man Anthony Mountain suggested if the poor old 4 kilo claimer caught, he should have just doing her best out there. If she had hit him once, he would have won. But she did good, Courtney, and it was good to see Highballer there. He had plenty of wins in store for him. Reward with the Rose was good. Mount Warning was also good down at the Sapphire Coast, but well, the Big M, Nemeth, got the job done, and what a moment that was for you and the stable and all the owners, of course.
To take a quote from you, Gano, pay the believers, because we were pretty bullish about him all week, not only because we love him, but he had a genuine excuse coming out of Skyron, and he went around pretty decent odds. And I don't think there's too many people that either listen to this podcast or follow the stable that didn't have something on him. It took me about 4.5 hours to reply to everyone's texts on Sunday. So great effort. He went super. He's going to head to Brisbane in 2 and a bit weeks for the Group 3 Healy. And hopefully if he runs well there, then we can look at something like the Ramornie over to the Grafton Carnival. And we're nearly absolutely swimming in money on Saturday if November Falls had just gone one more stride, but she went super as well.
Deary me. I was glad it was the other way around. I'm glad that November Falls wasn't the second leg, because I would have been in the cupboard for a long, long time. But plenty of messages, emails, and on X as well, like saying thanks. Big shout out to the podcast, which is interesting. Plenty of people taking the place multi, which is smarter than us. Maybe we need to learn a bit from those guys, but full credit there. And Mitch, after the race, it was good because, you're jovial, you're plenty of piss taking of yourself on Twitter and have a bit of fun. But it's good to see the emotions flowing post race, and that was a big moment for you.
Yeah, and a big moment for the whole stable as well, because we've had to work double time. Every single person has had to do a little bit more than what's required for that horse. The vets, the farriers, all the stable staff, Alicia, you, all of us had to really knuckle down and give 110%. So to get those sort of results is unreal. And yeah, he can go and back that up again. And it's just to have 2 runners at Randwick, run second and win a listed race from where the stables has come from to be able to compete at that sort of level. We've got November Falls heading back to Randwick. J-Mac booked, which always fills us with a bit of excitement. As she heads back to Randwick and will look a real good chance again. So we're starting to really form a nice team of metropolitan class horses.
Good stuff. And upon request, one of the requests that we did get in is that we did try a beer. We're having a beer during this podcast. I've gone for a leftover beer that was in the fridge. It's been there for about 3 months from a barbecue. I had a Furphy Original. It's not my go-to. I don't think it'll be getting a 10, but what have you got there tonight?
I've swiped one of the Irish kids, Asahi, that's been in the crisp vegetable department of my fridge for probably just as long a time. They normally get on the Summersby's, the kids. For those that don't know, unfortunately, I shared this house at the stables with 3 of my English and Irish staff who were going to stay here for a couple of weeks, and it's now been 6 months. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon, but it's finally nice to fleece something off them for once.
Small wins in life, isn't it? And that's the rules of engagement. You can't go to the bottle shop and grab anything you want. You've got to use what's left over. That's the cards we are dealt. A few horses arriving at the stable this week. Of note, the Ollie Kirk Galloper, and anything else coming in?
Yeah, the Headwater and the Ollie Kirk filly just arriving from the breakers. Pumped about them. 2 really nice horses that should be able to get up and go. Probably particularly the Ollie Kirk has been really forward at the breakers, surprised us a lot of how natural she is. So I think we can really pinpoint getting her to some of these early 2-year-old races like him. And pretty exciting out of a stakes performed horse who's already produced a stakes winner. So yeah, lovely filly, and she'll have the rest of the week around here at Kembla. She'll go to the paddock for 4 to 5 weeks, and she'll be back in, and hopefully she can get off to the trials sort of around spring, mid-spring towards Christmas time.
Good stuff. Steph at mitchbeerracing.com.au.
Yeah, little chunk left in her, but I'm sure as she flows through the stables over the next week or so, she's a nice filly. So we'll see how she gets on.
Should be more and more popular there. And looking forward now, we go to Newcastle on Saturday. There's 3 runners there. I'm excited that the markets are out already, so I'm pretty excited to get stuck into this one here. Let's kick off in race number 2, Order to Charge for the Mailbag team.
Shades on. Just Forgetty when he ran the other day. Went back in possibly the slowest run maiden ever to be.
You could have led them up.
Yeah, I've seen him go a lot quicker in most barrier trials. So he couldn't make any ground. Got out. He was raw, but gets out to 1,500. Shades go on. Really, really promising young rider. Engaged, takes 3 kilos off. He'll put himself there on the speed second up over 1,500. I like him, Geno. He's. I think I text you at about 4:45 on Tuesday morning about how well he galloped, and I was surprised to get a response about 10 minutes later. I thought, geez, this bloke's just as big a degenerate as me being up at this hour.
100%.
But he worked very, very good, and I think he's our best for the week.
Yeah, he looks like a really, really good chance. I think Tab's put up $6, so make sure if you get a piece of that, I think he'd be really, really hard to beat. I've done the race. I had him marked closer to $3, so I think he'd be very, very hard to beat. And Mitch Stableford, good to see young Mitch getting a start for the stable. He claims 3 kilos and had a winner at, I think it was at Randwick a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. First city rode a winner at Randwick, so he's gone. They were giving him away that day, though, so it was a battler's birthday there at Randwick last Saturday, but we'll take it.
Too good. No, it was the week before, actually. It was hard work last week. So Zipperless in race number 5, Braith Knock aboard. Of course, Sesame Timbers won't be going around after what we saw today. You can't win 2 in 4 days, but Zipperless in race number 5.
He has had the most horrendous run back from the paddock. His 3 runs have just been, everyone has just been a nightmare. I hope the favourite runs in the midway on Saturday because he looks really hard to beat. But if that favourite runs in the midway, I think he's a huge price. He's going 10 times better than what his form looks like. and he gets out to 1,200. He's had a nice little freshen up. Yeah, he's a horse I really like, and I haven't lost any faith of him, and he's going a lot better than his form.
Good stuff. And around $51, that price will probably be a third of that if the favourite comes out, but we'll just sort of see how we go in race number 2.
Can't beat the favourite if it goes. It looks like a genuine, better than Saturday horse. But hopefully it comes out, opens the race up. But he'll be going around seeing a bit of mine each way for sure.
Good stuff. And Scarlet Prince, an old favourite of mine, potentially heading to Hawkesbury over the 2,000 metres on Tuesday.
Yeah, again, he's just had a bit of a false start to his preparation. Just went around first up over 1,400 in town. And then the other day he ended up on speed, second up over a mile. Wasn't the plan at all, but bounced through. Third up 2,000 has always been how we profile the horse. And a bit of rain about, and he'll bounce through those first 2 runs and get out to 2,000, and then beyond. He's going to be a real staying prospect on the softer tracks this time in.
Good stuff. All right, so hopefully we get the winner or two on Saturday, and if not Saturday, we'll look to get the chocolates on Tuesday. It's been a really successful week or so leading in. Let's get to some questions off the top. Well, we'll get the ratings on the beer. I think I started at a 4. I'm thinking I'm getting closer to a 5. Might end up by a 6 by the end of the podcast on the old Furphy. But one off the top here. How's Angus going? When do we expect to see Angus?
Angus back on Monday. He's had a little sit on the bench for 10 or 12 days, but absence makes the heart grow fonder. He's been working hard at home. So he's back at the races, going really well. Got some really good rides leading up next week. And into next weekend, so he's in highly desired sort of form. So good to see him back at the races, and he'll be reuniting with a few of ours for sure.
Good stuff. Highballer was a horse we got off English Digital. Another one recently was Butterfly Style. I believe his horse has got back in the stable. Just the question here as to how that horse has arrived.
Yeah, she's great. She looks like a 5-year-old gelding, not a 2-year-old filly. She's nearly as fat as her trainer, but she's arrived in great order. Mullumbimby have really done a great job with her. So she kicked off yesterday. Really pleased with her. The form out of that race is terrific. I think she was well found. What would we pay for? Like $22,000 or something.
Cheap as chips.
Yeah, just unreal. She's 2-year-old filly placed at her first start. Love her. I can't see how we lose on her.
Beautiful. This one from Don. Lads, you went to the Gold Coast and mentioned you bought 2 horses. What were they? Sunrise was one and Fumico being the other. Mitch?
Yeah, well, we went there and we were buying horses off ratings. You loved her and said she was up to midway grade. And the interesting thing about Fumico is her best preparation has been her last. Her last 3 or 4 figures have been consistent career peaks. She vetted up good. Left her in Queensland. I wasn't really sure about what to do with her. I left her in Queensland for a fortnight, but yeah, I've decided I'm going to bring her down and syndicate her. I think what we pay for her, $20,000 or
20,000.
$20,000. Like
you outbid a man by the name of Jerry Harvey. It was a sort of simultaneous outbid, wasn't it? Because your hand went up before, and Jerry's just as he's getting a bit older, he just couldn't quite get the hand over the shoulder. So you out.
And I think they chose my bid, just thinking the no-brainer that he'd bid one more, and he didn't. So Fumico ended up with us. But yeah, I think at that sort of money, like she's a mare that's already won like 180,000. But she gets in so well at the ratings. She's worth that. That's her broodmare value. So if we can race her for another 12 months, get another couple of wins, get her to that midway level, I think she's a beauty. Like at that sort of money, you're getting 22,000 to win a 64 here across the road at Kembla. So I've just booked her on a truck. We're going to bring her down. I'm sure we'll get some punters in her, and we're away. So they're the ones that we sort of try and target, slip through the cracks. The first one we bought, she's done and dusted. So I thought, we'll bring Fumico down and get her up and going.
Yeah, and the thing I liked about her is you do have the residual value, right? So we didn't put a single bid in until the last bid with about 3 seconds to go, essentially. And therefore, the market tells you that horse is worth 17.5, 18, 20,000.
I think you put her on English Digital and she makes 30 or 40 grand every week. I mean, you and I are looking at those sales every fortnight, and yeah, she profiles to make 40% more than what we paid for it.
Yeah, and I think she's well suited, like Kembla Grange, Newcastle, Randwick. There's tracks where you can just make up good ground, fly over the top. I think that's perfect, and she's only got to walk across the road to a couple of those and get the job done. Other questions off the top here about some wet tracks. Wet tracks, how do you handle them? How do you know they'll handle them, Mitch? The horses, that is.
I think today's a great example, Gatto. We jumped out Sesame Timbers here on a bottomless track. I thought he went fair, and I remember saying in the report, geez, I don't know about him on a heavy. But he was at the start of horses can handle heavy tracks at different stages of their preparation. If they're really fit, they're a much better chance of handling a heavy as opposed to running on a heavy track first up or second up. So that horse today, I would never have sort of run him on a heavy, and I ended up doing it at Warwick Farm. And he ran third, and the jockey sort of said, I think he got through it, I'm not sure, but we're in a better class of race. Today, I thought even if he doesn't handle it, he can still win. So he's sort of learnt to handle it, and fitness is a massive thing on heavy tracks. And also weight. Like some horses handle heavy tracks with no weight on their back. But as you know, when you start to get around 60 kilos on a heavy 10, a lot of horses can not handle it due to the weight that they're carrying, not that they're not wet trackers.
Love it. There you go. So fitness is key, and there's certain stables that do it well, quick turnarounds, things like that as well, which is notable. But fitness definitely right up there as a number one priority, I guess you'd say. And if you've got any more questions, make sure you do shoot them through Mitch at Mitch Beer Racing, or hit us up on X, Twitter. Let us know with your questions. How do we choose our jockeys? Being another question here as Mitch takes a swig of his beer, and there's a fair bit that goes into that in regards to how the horse, the profile of the horse, if it's a leader, if it's a back marker, but just add a bit more context around that for us, Mitch.
I think firstly you take that senior apprentice approach, and then once you nail that down, as we've sort of discussed, like these horses that are going forward, we find Rachel King, Alicia Collett, really, really good judges of speed and judges of tempo. And then some of the other riders that we use are really patient, and also where they're going. With Richie Bensley, he rode a double for us at the Sapphire Coast, probably a name you don't see much, but a great horseman and patient rider, and using different class of jockeys at different venues is very important. Just because you're putting on a city jockey in the country doesn't get you the best result. Some of those country jockeys, they grit their teeth, they're tough. They need to ride two winners to pay their mortgage and their gas bill. So they're giving it 100%. So definitely location's a big thing. But I think we're getting it down. I think we've got a great little crew. And then out of nowhere, you have J-Mac texting you saying that they want to ride one. So then it blows them all out of the water. But I think we're very lucky where we train. You can go to Sydney and throw the colours in the jockey's room, and 99% of people that pick them up, you're happy to have on.
Yep, that's it. And always nice to have J-Max flick you a text. And lucky for J-Mac, Rachel's in the UK. Otherwise, he'd be sitting that one out. But no doubt he'll do a very good job, J-Mac, the best jockey in the world as far as I'm concerned. All right, any other questions from your end there, Mitch, or have you time for that staking plan?
Nah, we're going to have to put up the numbers because from last week, because I don't think this week's going to be grim, but we've absolutely launched at Christmas time, so we'll be a little bit more reserved. I am going to have 50 to win on order to charge, and I'm going to have 25 each way on Zipper List. I really think that horse can run the first three.
That's a good launch. I'll have $100 to win order to charge straight out. I'm going to get it nice and aggressive. And if order to charge wins, I might have something on Scarlet Prince, but let's just weigh that up and see where we get to.
If order to charge wins, I'll be staying at your house on the way home from Newcastle. Hope you've got some room in the backyard.
Got plenty of room and plenty of leftover furfies for you, mate. So don't you worry about that. It's you'll be more than welcome. You can leave the horses out the back, and they can clean up the grass for me as well. Hey, mate, it's been a ball, good fun. Let us know. Leave your email, I guess, is the best way to get in contact with us, Mitch. That's the go. Drop us a DM. Any questions you have about the stable, any suggestions, any guests you want on. We had a few suggestions. Brad Davidson.
That was shit.
We
that
got
was
to come
shit
in.
suggestions. I think we'll be mocked. We had some of the worst suggestions for people to come on this show. Like our poor owners already have to put up with you and me, and then the absolute dribble that got sent through of who we should get on. But if there's some legitimate people that want to come on this show, as you know, Gano, the pay is very low. BYO wages on the Beer and a Bet podcast. But,
and bring your own beer as well. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get someone on. But I just want to say, having that winner on Saturday is one thing, but I cannot tell you how many owners that are not in Menmouth that I heard from during the last week. And that's probably what made me proud the most. You know, we have created such a great group of people, staff and owners wise, and a great little community here. And to genuinely know how many people that have a horse with us that are involved in the stable were wrapped for our result that has, you know, no financial benefit for them is just unreal. So, you know, we wish we could do that with every horse and everyone will get their sort of turn. But to have that sort of environment and that mentality from everyone, it means so much.
Yep, it's a great community and long may it continue. All right, that's it.
And that's as serious as I'm ever getting on this.
Yeah, that was nearly emotional. I like that.
Well, it is my HSR. I'm getting teary. It's lucky there's no smokers lounge here that I can go out to and make a best friend and stay up to all hours.
No trivia for you tomorrow. You're off to one of the. You've been invited to one of the better restaurants in Sydney. So I look forward to getting your report on that.
I've copped an absolute massive invite to. I'll do a review next week. I've copped an invite to a very, very new restaurant in Sydney. I'm shitting myself that I'm going to have to pay, but if it is my turn to pay, thank God it's this week and not last.
Well, you could always pay them off in a couple of shares in a couple of horses. So we'll see how we go. But if you see Mitch out there in Sydney struggling to pay, help him out.
Yeah, shout me an Uber back to the Gong.
That's it. Righto. That's a beer and a bet for episode number 2. We'll be back next week.